Hey there, Soul Tribe. It's the Joy Healer, Kathy Weiss here. I use my gifts as an intuitive, clairvoyant, and source energy channel to help people who are feeling stuck, uncertain, or longing for more out of life, even if they don't really know what that is yet. I help them find clarity, direction, confidence, and a sense of true alignment with their joy and their soul's purpose. It's like, how rad is that? And why would you want anything less for yourself? I am coming to you live from my reading room here on the central coast of California, and I have got your weekly energy reading for the week of February 17th. I had to think about that for a second. February 17th through the 23rd, 2020. We're going to start off with a real quick energy healing. Now, the thing that's cool about energy healing is it is not limited by time, space, or technology. So whether you're watching live or you watch this later during a replay, you can receive the energy healing. Now, last week somebody asked me the most fabulous question, and I wanted to share the answer with all of you here. She said, I don't feel anything when you're sending the energy healing. Like, am I overthinking it? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what's up? And the honest answer is that energy healing is kind of a mystery. We know it works, but there is a little bit of like, around it. So it is quite possible that with the energy healing, you won't feel or notice anything, and that's totally normal and natural. It's still working. You might feel some warmth or heat into your hands, especially if you hold your hands up in a real receptive position. You might feel like a tingling sensation, or afterwards, you might feel just like a sense of lightness or ease, or you just kind of feel like relief or something. All of those are correct, appropriate responses. There isn't one specific response to energy healing. Just know that it works. So you have two choices right now. You can choose to receive the energy healing, or if you're kind of curious and you still just kind of are like learning about it and you don't feel comfortable yet, you can choose to not receive it. And here's how. If you'd like to receive, you just kind of mentally set an intention like, I'm going to receive this energy healing. And you have your hands in an open, receptive position. So you can hold your hands up to the video here. You could have your palms open wherever, down in your lap, by your sides, however you choose. And if you would prefer not to receive the energy healing, just a soft close, you could rest your hands on your body, face down, or make light little fists, okay? So let's get started with some energy healing. And again, if you're going to choose to receive, just set that intention and have your hands in an open, receptive position. And today, the healing is coming in the form of sort of a white, clear light, if that makes any sense. It's white, but it's like translucent. You can see all the way through this white light. And that's the only color that's coming today, and it's coming in a clear, steady stream. And if you're wondering what does the color or the shape mean, the response from the guides that send the energy healing is that we want you to feel more than overthink. Energy healing happens on a cellular level. It's kind of a little bit of a pulsation happening in there right now. It's easy to overthink energy healing. So if you don't feel anything, all good. If you do feel something, all good. There's a couple more moments. Hang with me. Okay, I'm kind of breaking that stream. I feel like it doesn't ever want to end. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of turn it off, but it still feels like it's flowing. So even as we go through the energy reading today, you might still feel a little bit of it coming through. I have some clear quartz down here in front of me to represent that clear energy healing. And then I have some yellow stones or some gold because if you have been watching along, the color for the year is gold. And I'm just being invited to remind you to keep incorporating shades of gold into your life in some sort of way throughout each week. Gold colored jewelry is fabulous. Nail polish, I don't have that going on today. Crystals that are gold. We've got yellow calcite here, citrine, and I don't know the name of this guy, but it does represent abundance. So that can be monetary, physical, energetic, all different forms of abundance. Okay, collective energy this week. At first, I thought it was stuck, like just completely dead in the water, stuck. But the more I started to tune in, it was more like a spluttering, like an engine or a car or something running out of gas, like. So it's like we're running out of gas and we haven't quite hit the stuck mark yet. Although I'm hearing a few of us are already stuck. So with collective energy, and especially where we're in this seasonal shift, go back and watch last week's energy reading, guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about with the seasonal shift. We're in a place where momentum is changing, and often what happens is everything sort of slows down to a stop before the new energy comes in, whether we're at the bottom of that wave or the top, and we're sort of like cresting it, and it's like before it starts again. So we're moving into that stopped place. And I have some notes that I took like really fast right before we started to make sure I get you all the info you need this week. Number one, it's natural. It's natural to feel like you're running out of gas. It's natural to run out of gas and come to a complete halt. And the guidance is like, you don't always have to be making forward momentum in life. You don't always have to be ticking off boxes and having success or learning or growth opportunities. Not every day and every week and every month and every year needs to be that. So it's okay to allow yourself to just be slower or spluttering or completely stuck and out of gas. Like it's okay and normal. And you do have to be discerning about when it's time to get help to get unstuck, if that makes any sense. So the guys are saying it's natural to be stuck, but it's not natural to start to sink down into the mud. Even that's natural. But we all kind of come to a point where we're like, I need to like get unstuck and I don't know how. And that's when you ask for help. And oh, this was really key, guys. You don't want to ask for help from a human helper like just anybody. You want to ask from a human helper who has been where you're stuck before. And it's not like exactly the same thing, but in some version, someone who has been stuck and gotten unstuck because they have a roadmap. They know how to help you get unstuck. And so you want to, when you're getting someone to help you, have a sense of where they've been, what were their stopping points, and while it may, because nobody's story is exactly the same, but is there enough similarity there that their life experiences can provide insight to help you kind of clear the way for yourself. So I was asked to share with some of you who are newer to getting to know me some of my own stuck places or places where I've been where I needed help to get unstuck. So number one, I used to have debilitating panic attacks and anxiety attacks to the point of like several times a week, I was creeping towards agoraphobia where I didn't want to go outside. And the whole reason I didn't want to go out into the backyard was because there might be spiders out there. Like it was getting pretty gnarly, guys. And oh my gosh, I needed help getting unstuck from there. I was a school teacher and had reached a point where I felt really stuck in that career and needed help getting unstuck to become a business owner. So I know those arenas really well. Oh, and I was a codependent, which is an unhealthy relationship pattern in which, here's how I describe it. The codependent is like holding the roadmap of life and dictating to everybody else the path but in a way where it was like, yeah, I don't care where you want to go because I'm in charge and we're going where I want to go. And too bad for you. And you need me. That's where it gets really unhealthy with codependency. You need me to tell you how to go about your life because clearly you don't know. And that's just like a way effed up way to be in the world. But I've healed from that. And so if that is something that you struggle with, I get it. And maybe I can help you move forward from that. And so, from all of these different stuck places in my life where I have received help from other people, I've become someone who embraces the fullness of myself with no shame. And I've become someone who approaches each day with a sense of abiding joy. And I pepper in ecstatic joy to my life as frequently as I can. And I teach other people who want to move toward that. So the collective guides of source invited me to share that with you to help you see the human side of how I can help you along with the source energy side. So what happens is that sometimes source energy and the collective guides of source that act as that bridge between source and us as humans, what they do is they kind of like go in my brain and be like, that life experience, that book, that lesson, that thing that you've completely forgotten about, that's what's going to help so and so right now, so we're going to unlock that for you. Boom, here you go. Right? So yeah, hey Debbie, nice to see you, sister. I love it too. I love you too. I can't wait to see you soon. Okay, we're going to totally change directions right now. And it feels to me almost like a completely different topic came up that I would want to do in a separate video. But our guides are like, no, whoever needs this information is listening today. So or watching the replay. So if you're watching now or the replay, this part is meant for you. Okay, it says, ask your questions. Ask your questions. There are so many questions percolating out in the air, guys. In the last 2 weeks I've mentioned, it feels like rain. It feels like little things pinging off of my body, and I can't answer them. I can't answer your questions until you articulate them to me. That is sort of part of the morality and ethics of being an intuitive and a clairvoyant is I can't help you unless you ask. Make sense? And there's two reasons why you're afraid to ask your questions. And so we're going to address that to help soothe that and hopefully open the gate to make you feel more comfortable asking your questions. And you can totally ask them in the comments. You can totally private message me and you can totally set up a session. Like there's lots of ways to ask your questions that don't have to feel exposed. But first of all, we get afraid to ask questions when we're afraid of the answer. When we're afraid that the answer is going to make us or someone else deeply uncomfortable. And usually, with that sort of situation, we already kind of know the answer. And it's an uncomfortable answer, and that's why we don't want to ask. But in the asking of it, you will, number one, get affirmation and clarity. And even if it's uncomfortable and you don't like it, it reveals the truth so that then you can take action or move forward or clear the air or do whatever needs to be done. And so I'm hearing really loud and clear, ask your questions. Whether you need to ask them to me or to other people in your life, it's really time to start asking the questions, even if they're uncomfortable, because clearing the air and paving the way forward is necessary in these times. The other reason many of us don't ask questions is because we're embarrassed or ashamed of the fact that we don't know the answers. Because it's sort of like we perceive, well, like everybody else knows the answer, or that person is so smart and they totally know the answer, and I'm so embarrassed that I don't, or I feel really dumb, or I feel like how stupid that I'm blah, blah, blah years old and I don't know the answer to this. But here's the deal with that one. Nobody knew the answers at some point. Does that make sense? Like there was a point when the person who you perceive as having all the answers did not have them. And the way that they got the answers is that they asked questions or they went out and found the answers. And so what you can think of it is like a gift. Like the universe helped whoever get information and knowledge and wisdom just so that you could ask the questions and get the answers. So it's almost like get over yourself a little bit, because none of us burst forth from the womb with the answers. We had to get them in some way. So there's no shame in you not having an answer. There's no shame in you having a question and seeking information. So ask questions. Ask them. And it really big, it says, ask me. I love answering questions, and I only get to answer them when you ask them. So ask away. And if I don't have the answer, if I'm not able to channel the answer from source energy for you, I will direct you to someone who can. I know a lot of really friggin' cool people in a lot of different industries, and if I can't hook you up, I will send you to someone who can. And even that will most likely get channeled from source energy. So I think, I was like, guides, what does this have to do with being stuck or running out of gas? And and the answer is, we start to feel stuck and we start to feel like we're running out of gas when we don't necessarily know the way forward anymore, when we don't necessarily see the direction, or where we have questions about the direction. And it's okay to take pause and kind of like rest and lie fallow for a bit, but not forever. And so when you are feeling stuck or uncertain about what is next or how to move forward, using that time to ask the questions and like gather information is a beautiful way to sort of soothe yourself in the stuckness, because it's like you're preparing for the next forward momentum. Makes sense? You can give me a random like thumbs up or heart sign or something if this is kind of aligning and making sense. And you might have to go back and watch it 2 or 3 times to get all the info, because I feel like a huge information dump is happening. And when I'm channeling it, even for me, it doesn't all stick. So like, let's all agree that we're going to go back. Thank you, Anna Marie, for thumbs upping that it makes sense. Even for me, I have to sometimes go back and like take in the information again. Let's close up with a card pull. And I hesitate to use the word oracle card, which is what I often use, because today I felt really drawn to this deck that I am now dropping all over my little table. It's a very slippery deck. But this is actually not an oracle deck. This is a tarot deck. The difference between oracle and tarot. Tarot is more like a deck of playing cards in that it has set suits and characters and images. Even though the artwork is different, it has like numbers and character. You just go with me on that they're set. Every tarot deck is going to have the exact same cards, even though the images are different. Whereas an oracle deck, every deck is different. The numbers vary, the meanings and the intention of the author vary. It's like all vastly different. But I just felt really called to the tarot deck today. And it's cool because it's round, which is unusual. I'm not a tarot expert. Like, a tarot expert is someone who's going to memorize all of the cards and all of their meanings, and I haven't done that. So I do have a guidebook to go along with this deck that we'll use once we pull today's card. So I'm feeling like it's pretty shuffled, since I also dropped it on top of my table here. When you're working with me in person, I do let you tell me where the card is for the day. And as I kind of look at the deck, I'm not super drawn, a little bit here and a little bit over here. And it's more like, I think in my brain that it's this one, but my heart and my energy is more like it's this one. And do you guys agree with that? Like, anybody really fast want to comment, or even just like do a quick heart or something, or a thumbs up? But I'm like super obsessed right now with that spot. So I'm gonna go with it. Such a crazy slippery deck, you guys. Okay, here it is. Oh, and this is the Son of Discs. Yes, Anna Marie says yes, this is the Son of Discs. And I have to tell you something really interesting, guys, because I don't use this deck often, but I love it. Even for myself, I don't use it very often. right before I did the video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pull a card for myself and see what I get. I got this one. So isn't that interesting? Because you saw me shuffle and drop them all over the table. So it wasn't like, I was gonna be able to stack the deck or anything. But there it is. Let me tell you a little bit about the Sun of Discs from the guidebook. Again, like I said, because I'm not a tarot expert, I haven't memorized all the meanings of the cards. So the Sun of Discs, it says, when you get this card in a reading, it suggests you are working steadily towards your goals. You know what it is you want, and you hold a one-pointed focus on getting it. You probably ground yourself through some regular physical discipline. And I'm hearing if you don't, it's okay. It might be time to recommit to physical discipline, such as yoga or jogging or working out that brings you into concentration with your body, like focuses your mind and your body. When this card is upright, which it was, it signals a good time to seek work or accomplish a task that you've set for yourself because you see the target clearly. And so let me show you the picture again. You can see how he's shooting an arrow right at that target. So this card is showing up and saying, even if we're running out of gas, even if we're feeling stuck, we know what this target is. And that it's just time to like get a little bit disciplined and a little bit refocused. And even if for a bit it feels like you're trudging through mud or uphill and things are heavy and slow and clunky, if you just keep your eyes focused right there on that target, this is like a pristine time to shoot your arrow and you will hit your target. And I heard really loud and clear, and sometimes that's because you asked for help. There you go. Message is complete. I love it when every once in a while then the guides are like, shut it. So messages for today are complete. If you would like some help from me or you want me to point you in a direction of where you can get help, go hit me up, go hang out with me at thejoyhealer.com. You're welcome, Anna Marie. You can also set up a private discovery call, a private session, or join one of our group mini reading sessions. Have a gorgeous day. Remember, it's thejoyhealer.com, and I'm going to see you again next week for your weekly energy reading. Namaste, you guys. I love you. Bye.